time I ended up needing a blood transfusion. And my feet just started burning, like a little razzle dazzle. So if you feel any sort of like pain, that's too far. Take it down a notch. And I just fell on my hands and knees. And I just started crying. Like, and praying.
All these diamonds, yeah. I'ma swallow all these diamonds, yeah.
Hello, my name is Janelle. Welcome back to my channel, Janelle the THIIS. This channel is based on everything I love, from wellness, health, fashion, food, being a business owner, being a twin mom, being a dog mom, all the things. But this video is specifically dedicated to a health journey, to a disease that is taking over our country and has taken over my life for the past year. So if you've been watching some of my vlogs, well, in pretty much every single one of my vlogs, I talk about this, that last year, February 10th, I was diagnosed with IDC triple negative breast cancer. And for the last year, I was going through chemotherapy. And so I vlogged as much as I could for that year, going through my process and trying to show some of my rawest and most vulnerable moments. But it is very hard because chemotherapy and dealing with the fact that you have breast cancer is a very trying and exhausting experience. So I came on today so that we can talk about what to expect when you find out you have breast cancer and when you start chemo, all the way until you ring that bell and after. Because as right now, I am one month post chemo. My last chemo treatment was February 14th. It is now March 21st. So it's been a little bit over a month. So I have my notes here, my handy dandy notebook. And so if you see me looking down or over, that is what I'm looking at. I tried to put it in as order as I could, but going through chemotherapy is a chaotic experience, right? So telling the story might be a little chaotic. Okay, so things I wish I knew before I started chemo for breast cancer. The first thing that happens, well, first let me start from the beginning. First, how I found out I had breast cancer. When I lotion my body, when I get out the shower and I'm lotioning my breasts, like most of the time, you know, they just tell us to do breast exams and da-da-da. I've never done a breast exam myself in my life. When I put my lotion on and I lotion my breasts, I like, this might be a little much. I'm not gonna pull out the whole thing, but it is serious. This is really serious. A lot of women are going through this and they don't know, or they don't check themselves, so therefore they don't find out until it's too late. So when I massage my breasts, right, like I rub them like this and up and around and back around and like this, and I like massage my breasts when I'm lotioning my body, right? Mostly because it feels good. They've probably been in a bra all day. Like I wasn't doing it for any other reason. And like you have natural like bumps and grooves and stuff in your breast, right? But they're kind of like soft and jello-y or whatever. One day I was lotioning my breasts and about right here I felt a little nodule. And I'm like, that's never been there before. Like, what is that? Now, your body can develop cysts, and especially during, like, if your period's about to start and you're going through like a hormonal part of, like, before, you know, that time of the month. And like they be getting bigger and swollen. So it could have just been something like, oh, it's hormonal, it'll go away, right? But then it doesn't go away. If you ever feel something in your body you've never felt before, pay attention to it. Watch it. It started to get a little bit bigger, and it started to move down the side of my breast until it ended up down here in the bottom of my breast, right? The bottom left corner, I'll say. And it felt like it was about this big. It felt like it was about this big after about, I think I found it in November. I went to my doctor's the end of January. So in that 3 months, it grew that big. Like that's what it felt like. And it feels like it has a whole bunch of pricklies all over it. Mine. Anyway, now everybody's journey is different. I don't know if that's how everybody feels, but this is what happened for me. So take it with a grain of salt, but take it very seriously because you could die. Okay, so that's what it felt like for me. If it's in a different part of your breast, it might feel different. I think mine was right on the edge of my skin, so I could really, really feel it. And that's what it felt like. So I call my doctor. I'm like, I feel a lump. I need a checkup. I go get a checkup. She does a breast exam. She feels it. She's like, all right, I'm going to have you go get some extra imaging. So we go to women's imaging. They do a ultrasound and they look in there. They see a lot of cysts. Also, if you drink a lot of caffeine, women who drink a lot of caffeine usually develop a lot of cysts in their breast. So then she's like, okay, I want you to go get a biopsy. I was scared to get a biopsy because I was like, oh, if you put trauma in the breast, then it's going to grow something weird and that's what's going to cause it. I was being really ignorant about the situation, but low-key I was scared. I knew that I was going to have to go get a biopsy because how else you going to know for sure, you know? So I think I hesitated maybe like 3 weeks to call and make the appointment. I call, make the appointment. I get a biopsy. She calls me, I want to say about 3 to 4 days later. I'm driving on my way to work, but I just left, so I was still like in the neighborhood. And I like to take scenic routes. So I wasn't like on a main road, right? And she's like, do you want me to tell you? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you at home? I'm like, no. She's like, are you driving? It sounds like you're driving. I'm like, yeah, I'm driving. Just go ahead and tell me, you know? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Tell me. I'm not thinking that it's going to be breast cancer. Like, what? I'm not that old. Like, how? What? You think of cancer as like older people, like old, you know? No. Like unhealthy people. I'm not unhealthy. I eat good. Like I eat healthy, clean foods. I don't eat a lot of candy. I don't eat a lot of fast food. I don't eat a lot of junk. Anyway, so she's like, well, your test came back positive. And I'm like, positive for what? For what? And she's like, breast cancer. All I could say was, what? 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 Like, what do you mean? And she's like, yes, your test came back. It's what we call IDC. We need to do some more testing on it. Those results will come back in a couple of days and we can like really get, you know, tell you some more details about it. We're gonna have you come back in, all this fun jazz, right? So mind you, when you go and get your first biopsy, they put a little metal clip where the suspected, you know, lump is. And I had two. I had one kind of up here and then one down here, like where it had started, and then one down here, because this was like a little lump, but it ended up just being a cyst. And so they put the little clips in there, right, from your first biopsy. Yeah, you get a couple. So she's like, we're gonna have you come back in, we're gonna do some more imaging, we gotta do another biopsy, because then once they figure out it's cancerous, they do another biopsy to put the cancer little metal clip in there to let anybody else who is going in there, which are about to have surgery. So it's to let them know which lump is the cancerous lump, because you might have multiple clips in your breast, right, for whatever reasons. You have a ton of appointments, right? Then you choose which center you want to go to. I chose Parker Adventist, which I absolutely love. If you live in Colorado and you have to go through this situation, I highly, highly recommend them. They move fast, they're efficient, they're informative, and they're very, very nice. They're very, very sweet, kind people. They're very delicate with your situation and with you as a person. Like, every single person I met made me feel like I was their cousin, you know? So I wasn't nervous or uncomfortable or felt any kind of way, because this is a very traumatic experience. And so then you got to go get your MRIs. After you get your MRI, then you meet your surgeon, you meet your oncologist. They let you know the plan that they have for you and what you're going to go through. So the surgeon explains, like, the surgery you're going to have to go through. You're going to have to get a port, the lumpectomy process, any knowledge she has about breast cancer and the reoccurrences and the percentages and what it could look like for you in the future, right? You're going to know these people for the next 5 years. You're going to be seeing them for the next 5 years. Your surgeon comes up with your surgery plan, and your oncologist comes up with your chemo plan, right? So I have written down here, she wrote it out on a board for me, and I took a picture of it so I could know exactly at what points I will be going in all this. Because for me, chemo is just not like one medicine. It's just not like chemo and that's it. Like, there's different kinds of medicines that break down throughout your chemotherapy plan, right? So it's gonna take a year. It takes a year. You're gonna be on chemo. Well, let me stop saying you, because I'm not a professional. I don't know if this is for everybody, but I had to do chemo for 6 months, and then I had to do Keytruda for 6 months. But I did 3 months of Taxol, and then every 3 weeks I would get a carbo, and I did that for 3 months. Then you'll get Primbo with an AC treatment once every 3 weeks. Now the Taxol you get once a week, every week for the first 12 weeks. Okay. Also, remember, the carbo is only every 3 weeks, still with the Taxol going once a week. Right. Then you move on to what's called AC. AC is, when you watch my last video, I think it was week 4 or AC chemos week. I don't remember which one it was, but the one that has the thumbnail with the lady when they gotta put on a blue protective suit, and it's in red vials, like really thick red. It's red stuff. It's red. Mind blowing, right? They shoot that up in you. You get that once a week, every 3 weeks, with the Primbo. I'll get into it. Now, Primbo is also known as Keytruda. It is Keytruda, right? So the Primbo keeps going for a year. So you're really taking it mixed in with the carbo, Taxol, and Primbo, and then AC and Primbo, and then Primbo just by itself for the last 6 months, right? Now let me explain what happens. When you are doing Taxol, you want to make sure that you put ice on your hands and your feet, because you can develop what is called neuropathy. Neuropathy is when your nerve endings die or react in a crazy way, right? And it usually starts in your hands and your feet, and it could only be in your hands and your feet, and then like lead up into the arms and to the rest of the body. Now, if you watch my what's in my chemo bag video, you see that I bought a heating blanket because I hate being cold. So I was in there with ice on my feet, ice on my hands, and a heating blanket over the rest of my body, right? About 2 months into the Taxol, I start getting this burning, itchy, painful. It's felt like spiders with needle feet were biting me all over my body, like thousands of them all over my entire body, biting me. And mind, when they bite you, they're injecting a venom that feels like fire all day, every day. It started out in sections, like my arm or my back or my shins, you know, and I would be putting ice on it and all this. We tried every single cream, all the creams, right? I couldn't even take a shower because anything hitting my skin made it worse. The heating blanket, which is like that fuzzy microfiber material, that made it worse. It felt like needle. It's like your skin is inside out. Oh, it was awful. Absolutely awful. I was like, I can't do this. It lasted for probably about I had to ask my fiance, because in my mind it lasted for like at least 2 something months, right? Like, it was so bad I couldn't even walk. It started on a walk. I was taking my dogs for a walk and my feet just started burning, like if they're on fire, and fell asleep at the same time. It was awful. So I get home, I'm like, something's wrong with my feet, right? And it just was everywhere eventually. So we kept trying creams. We kept trying to get in cold water, because sometimes ice would help. I'd put ice on it. It would numb me. Then I talked to the doctors. Now, I said I loved them. I did. I do love them. But there was one doctor that I talked to there. Even my oncologist, when I explained it to her, nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew what it was, why it was happening, what it could be. I was like, neuropathy? They're like, no. So I have to go see the doctor I end up in the hospital. We'll talk about that in a minute. And I'm like, I've been having this. He's like, it sounds like neuropathy. Even the nurse in the hospital knew it was neuropathy. Everybody knew it was neuropathy except for my oncologist and her little sub doctors. So I'm like, the only thing when I Google it says this could be is neuropathy. So we end up ordering neuropathy cream, right? It helped. It definitely helped, but I was going through that cream like crazy. First, we started with neuropathy oil. The cream works better. It was horrible. So then I couldn't take it no more. I could not take it no more. And everybody's like, what made it stop? Like, how did it stop? What did you do? Because the neuropathy helped, but it didn't stop it. It just like eased it a little bit. I couldn't even put on clothes sometimes. I had to walk around the house naked and make my kids stay in the room. Luckily, they were in school, so they didn't get to see half of this. But one day, my fiance, you know, I was at home alone. My fiance had to go to work. And I had to take a shower because you got to clean your body, right? And I fell on that floor. I couldn't even rub the cream. I couldn't even go like this on my skin to like rub in any lotions or anything. It hurt so bad. So bad. And I just fell on my hands and knees. And I just started crying. Like, and praying. And praying. I was like, I can't, God. I can't. And like, some people don't believe in God. I don't know why. I don't know how. There's been so many moments in my life, like, where it couldn't have been nobody else. It couldn't have been nothing else. Girl, I just broke down. I was like, I can't, God, please, God, take this affliction. I can't, Lord, please. And from that moment forward, it got better. And not thinking about less than a week, it was gone. I still had to go do Taxel. It was so bad too, like I would just jump. Like I would have like attacks where I would just be like I had Tourette's or something. It was awful. And I had to go get chemo like that, and I kept twitching, and I was like, I cannot sit in this chair. I couldn't even like lean back on my back. My back was set on fire. Awful. That was the worst of my chemo. Besides one other thing that happened, but that was the worst because it didn't stop. Could you imagine being in pain and it doesn't stop? I can handle pain because I know it's about to end. Like, all right, it's gonna stop. There's no stop. No stop. That was awful. But I believe it was because of the dang heating blanket. They tell you to put ice on your hands and feet to stop neuropathy. I have a heating blanket on my whole body on high. So I got neuropathy on high. Don't get a heating blanket. Moral of the story. Do not get a heating blanket. Matter of fact, when it's time to take the Taxel, you're just going to have to sit there for the 45 minutes and freeze. That would be better than to have to live every single day for a month and a half or so in excruciating pain. Trust me. Trust me. All right, next. So then we move on to the AC, the red stuff. All through chemo, you want to drink a lot of water, right? But when you're doing the AC, they put the red stuff in you. They call it the red devil. You go to the bathroom, you're peeing out red, right? You want to get that red out of you as soon as possible. Like, it's still going to do its job. It's still in there. It's going to circulate through your body everywhere it needs to go. They put it through your port, which is in a vein through your neck. So it's going right into your bloodstream. Once it gets to you to pee out, which is soon while you're in there, you're going to have to pee. It's going to be red. That's a good thing. Pee it out until it's clear, okay? If you don't, it can give you a bladder infection, and it could go all like cause other issues inside, right? Both of them make you really tired and nauseous. Hold on. Taxel, you will have an upset stomach all the time. If you've ever been pregnant, it feels like that nauseous, heartburn, indigestion feeling that you get when you're pregnant all day. All day. You're gonna live on like Pepcid and Canada Dry. Yep, you will. You cannot take anything with aspirin, and you can't take what's the pink one that people like, Pepto-Bismol, because it has an ingredient in there that is bad with the chemo. AC, The pregnancy nauseous feeling kind of goes away a little. You're still going to be really tired. Some days are better than some. You're still going to be tired. And then you're going to throw up. You're going to throw up everything. You're not even going to want to eat. And they also give you a steroid when you're taking these meds to like help you be able to at least just live through the day. And that's what makes you still be able to function. And why people that are going through chemo now don't look so tore down, because they give us steroids as well, like with the medicine, with the chemo. So you're jacked up on steroids, so you're gonna eat. You're gonna want to eat. You don't want to eat. And there's no real eating restrictions. They want you to eat everything because they want to make sure that you eat so that your body has enough to get through this, right? So the AC makes you throw up. Now, it's not every single day, okay? It's not all the time. But you're gonna have moments, you're gonna eat something. I could not eat the vegan meat anymore. I don't even like it now. I'm like, nah, if it's gonna be vegetarian, let's just do vegetarian. Let's use mushrooms or chickpeas. Don't give me no quarter meat. Don't give me no Impossible Burger. I don't want that. I don't want that. It's like a mush. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. And so, yeah. But when you throw up, it's not like when you're drunk or when you're pregnant and you just throw up and then it's done. No. I threw up. I want to say you do the AC for another 12 weeks, right? It ends up being a little more than a year in total, but it was about 3. And then one time wasn't so bad. But that one time I smoked some miracle marijuana. I had a panic attack so hard. And I smoke. I used to be a smoker. Like, I love me some weed. Panic attack out this world. I threw up so hard. Oh, it was awful. The other 3 times I ate something my body didn't like, I literally threw up for an entire hour. An hour straight of vomiting. Your stomach starts to hurt. I don't know if it's cramping. It didn't feel like a cramp to me. It feels like it hurts. It feels like it hurts. There's no other way to explain it. It hurts. I'm freezing cold, so I get under my heating blanket then, because now I'm healed from the neuropathy. Thank you, God, for real. So I could get under my heating blanket because I'm freezing. I'm freezing cold. My stomach hurts. And every 25 seconds, every 5 minutes, I gotta go throw up again. And it's not just like no, it's like your whole life is coming out of you. It's awful. It's awful. Everything about this is awful. And your hair falls out in the first 3 weeks. Plays no games. I did the big chop. Yeah, it just started just coming out. I'd wake up, hair everywhere. Even when I cut it down to the little curl in my last video. Not my last video, but in my chemo series. To where me and my fiance was like, let's just shave it. Let's just shave it off. There's patches and stuff. You starting to look sicker. I mean, I don't want to say sicker than you are, but you're starting to look sick. So he was like, all right, shave it. That happens in the first 3 weeks. Plays no games. I was like, I can't, God. I can't. And like, some people don't believe in God. I don't know why. I don't know how. There's been so many moments in my life, like, where it couldn't be nobody else. It couldn't have been nothing else. Girl, I just broke down. I was like, I can't, God, please, God, take this affliction. I can't, Lord, please. And from that moment forward, it got better. And not thinking about less than a week, it was gone. I still had to go do Taxel. It was so bad too, like I would just jump. Like I would have like attacks where I would just be like I had Tourette's or something. It was awful. And I had to go get chemo like that, and I kept twitching, and I was like, I cannot sit in this chair. I couldn't even like lean back on my back. My back was set on fire. Awful. That was the worst of my chemo. Besides one other thing that happened, but that was the worst because it didn't stop. Could you imagine being in pain and it doesn't stop? I can handle pain because I know it's about to end. Like, all right, it's gonna stop. There's no stop. No stop. That was awful. But I believe it was because of the dang heating blanket. They tell you to put ice on your hands and feet to stop neuropathy. I have a heating blanket on my whole body on high. So I got neuropathy on high. Don't get a heating blanket. Moral of the story. Do not get a heating blanket. Matter of fact, when it's time to take the Taxel, you're just going to have to sit there for the 45 minutes and freeze. That would be better than to have to live every single day for a month and a half or so in excruciating pain. Trust me. Trust me. All right, next. So, then we move on to the AC, the red stuff. All through chemo, you want to drink a lot of water, right? But when you're doing the AC, they put the red stuff in you. They call it the red devil. You go to the bathroom, you're peeing out red, right? You want to get that red out of you as soon as possible. Like, it's still going to do its job. It's still in there. It's going to circulate through your body everywhere it needs to go. They put it through your port, which is in a vein through your neck. So it's going right into your bloodstream. Once it gets to you to pee out, which is soon while you're in there, you're going to have to pee. It's going to be red. That's a good thing. Pee it out until it's clear, okay? If you don't, it can give you a bladder infection, and it could go all like cause other issues inside, right? Both of them make you really tired and nauseous. Hold on. Taxel, you will have an upset stomach all the time. If you've ever been pregnant, it feels like that nauseous, heartburn, indigestion feeling that you get when you're pregnant all day. All day. You're gonna live on like Pepcid and Canada Dry. Yep, you will. You cannot take anything with aspirin, and you can't take what's the pink one that people like, Pepto-Bismol, because it has an ingredient in there that is bad with the chemo. AC, the pregnancy nauseous feeling kind of goes away a little. You're still going to be really tired. Some days are better than some. You're still going to be tired. And then you're going to throw up. You're going to throw up everything. You're not even going to want to eat. And they also give you a steroid when you're taking these meds to like help you be able to at least just live through the day. And that's what makes you still be able to function. And why people that are going through chemo now don't look so tore down, because they give us steroids as well, like with the medicine, with the chemo. So you're jacked up on steroids, so you're gonna eat. You're gonna want to eat. You don't want to eat. And there's no real eating restrictions. They want you to eat everything because they want to make sure that you eat so that your body has enough to get through this, right? So the AC makes you throw up. Now, it's not every single day, okay? It's not all the time, but you're gonna have moments. You're gonna eat something. I could not eat the vegan meat anymore. I don't even like it now. I'm like, nah, if it's gonna be vegetarian, let's just do vegetarian. Let's use mushrooms or chickpeas. Don't give me no quarter meat. Don't give me no Impossible Burger. I don't want that. I don't want that. It's like a mush. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. And so, yeah. But when you throw up, it's not like when you're drunk or when you're pregnant and you just throw up and then it's done. No. I threw up. I want to say you do the AC for another 12 weeks, right? It ends up being a little more than a year in total, but it was about 3. And then one time wasn't so bad. But that one time I smoked some miracle marijuana. I had a panic attack so hard. And I smoke. I used to be a smoker. Like, I love me some weed. Panic attack out this world. I threw up so hard. Oh, it was awful. The other 3 times I ate something my body didn't like, I literally threw up for an entire hour. An hour straight of vomiting. Your stomach starts to hurt. I don't know if it's cramping. It didn't feel like a cramp to me. It feels like it hurts. It feels like it hurts. There's no other way to explain it. It hurts. I'm freezing cold, so I get under my heating blanket then, because now I'm healed from the neuropathy. Thank you, God, for real. So I could get under my heating blanket because I'm freezing. I'm freezing cold. My stomach hurts. And every 25 seconds, every 5 minutes, I gotta go throw up again. And it's not just like no, it's like your whole life is coming out of you. It's awful. It's awful. Everything about this is awful. And your hair falls out in the first 3 weeks. Plays no games. I did the big chop. Yeah, it just started just coming out. I'd wake up, hair everywhere. Even when I cut it down to the little curl in my last video. Not my last video, but in my chemo series. To where me and my fiance was like, let's just shave it. Let's just shave it off. There's patches and stuff. You starting to look sicker. I mean, I don't want to say sicker than you are, but you're starting to look sick. So he was like, all right, shave it. That happens in the first 3 weeks. Plays no games. It's out of there. All the hair, it's gone. It's gone. So that's what AC does. And you're a little bit more tired than with the Taxol. Then we have the Primbo, which is the Keytruda. Keytruda is not so bad compared to Keytruda. You will be tired. You will still throw up here and there, but it's not as bad. Like for the last 3 days, my last treatment of Keytruda was February 14th. For the last 2 days, I was sick. I was throwing up everything. My stomach was hurting, but I only threw up when I ate. And it was kind of just like a throw up, and then I was done. So the side effects still kind of linger in some ways, right? And Keytruda can kind of contribute to that as well. You are a little more tired. I still get tired. I still get winded. This video is going to seem like I'm talking all the way out straight, but I've already had like 2 pauses where I had to like just sit here. So Keytruda's not so bad. You're still going to be a little tired, but you're going to start getting your life back. You're going to start losing a little bit of weight, because if you notice in my chemo series, my face was this big. It was this big. So I'm starting to lose a bit of weight. I've lost more weight than my weight is lower than it was when I started chemo. I think I was like 148 when I started chemo, and I'm 138 now. When they say weed is for cancer patients, they lied. I think it might be more for like the terminal people side. I don't know. But when I tried to smoke, every single time I got a panic attack, like the worst panic attack, and I threw up. My fiance gave me a clozapam one time because we went to the dispensary and I had got some marijuana. The UPS man is here. My dogs are about to start barking in a minute. And I hit it 2 times. Little girl, when I tell you the whole car started spinning, I had to put my head down like this. My fiance was like, "Are you okay?" I barely could shake my head. No. Yeah, so she had to give me a clozapam. And I had to sit there for a little bit till I could walk in the house. And then I basically slept for the rest of the day. That was awful. Don't smoke weed. Don't do it. I don't even care if you're a smoker. Don't do it. Why'd I have to go to the hospital? There were 2 times where I think I went 3 times. I think I went 3 times. I was hospitalized. Sometimes when you're going through this, your blood pressure well, when I was going through this, my blood pressure would drop significantly, and I already run on the low side. If you have been an athletic person in your life, you typically will have a blood pressure that runs on the lower side, and that's fine unless you're taking a medication that can also mess with your blood pressure. So my blood pressure would drop significantly and I could barely walk. Like I was trying to open the refrigerator and I couldn't even open it. I was so weak. You feel weak and a little lethargic and like you cannot move. You can barely even talk, right? So my fiance took me to the hospital, low blood pressure. All they do to get your blood pressure up is make you eat salty foods. That's it. They give you fluids, a little bit of steroids, and let you eat whatever you want. But do not take what I'm saying and then you feel this way and then you don't go to the hospital and just start eating salty foods. Go to the hospital so they could give you steroids and fluids and like actually come up with a plan for you, okay? Promise. All right. That's how people die from chemo, is they have these effects, side effects, and they don't go to the hospital. They sit at home and thug it out, thinking it'll pass. Just go. If there's nothing wrong with you and you're fine, they'll send you home. Okay? Just go to the emergency. The second time I went, I felt the same way, but that time I ended up needing a blood transfusion. And when you get a blood transfusion and you're going through chemo, they have to clean it in extra time to make sure that it's extra clean and safe. And I am O positive. So I have a special blood type, which, I mean, they had it, so it's not really a problem. But I do have a special blood type. So they have to clean it. The next time I went, felt the same way. I needed plasma. Your blood counts. They will do, they'll take a CBC, which is basically they draw your blood, they draw it out of your port, and they make sure that like all your levels, your white blood cells, your red blood cells, your hemoglobin, all these blood levels are okay. If your white blood cells are too low, you cannot get treatment. They had to push my treatment back 1 time. And then it sets back your entire process that 1 week, right? So your blood pressure does play a part. And that's why I was feeling so woozy, because my blood was barely pumping through the body. So the first time, blood transfusion. Second time, I needed plasma. The third time, I had some sort of infection. They couldn't figure out what the infection was or where it started or what it was. So they just kept giving me steroids and antibiotics. But in about 3 days, I had to stay. Every time I went to, I was there for 3 days. Every time. So 3 to 4 days. So then that time I had just the infection. I was there for about 3 days. I had already started radiation. So radiation, everything is in the same hospital vicinity, right? So radiation came up and got me to go and do my radiation so I wouldn't miss a radiation. So they didn't have to set that back as well. So that was very, very nice of them. And I didn't know what the infection was for or where it came from or what, but they kept giving me antibiotics. So again, moral of that story is whenever you feel too much out of the source, if you cannot walk barely, if that exhausts you, if you can't open the refrigerator, if you can't even walk in the kitchen and get you a glass of water, you know, with a little pep in your step. Well, I won't say pep because you will be like kind of slow and sluggish, but like it drains you so much where you have to like, you feel like your heart isn't beating right. You feel like you're not getting enough air in your body right. Go to the emergency room. Do not wait. I had a well, not my homegirl, but I knew my fiance's cousin's sister. I guess that's the cousin too. Oh, whatever. She had the same thing. She dies of a blood clot. Now, I don't know how you would know if you do or don't have a blood clot, but they do tell you to not just lay in the bed. It might feel like that's what you want to do, but get up and walk. I don't care if you just you pace in the hallway at your house, in your home, if you're in an apartment, in that hallway. If you have a house and you can walk outside, if it's a nice day, go outside and walk, get you some vitamin D from the sun. Walk. You're not allowed to take supplements. I wasn't allowed to take supplements because different vitamins can react to the chemo in different ways and they can cross and do stuff you don't really want them to do. So drink lots of water, get lots of fluids in you. Even if you can't drink water, drink. Just drink. Okay, whatever is wrong with you, the chemo's gonna kill it right now anyway. Now when you're done with chemo, then we got to get back on track with the healthy. We'll talk about that in a minute. And I know this video already seems long, guys. I know. But just bear with me. It's for your best interest, I promise. Okay, so, which I think we're almost about done. No heating blankets, no bad snacks, which they tell you can eat whatever you want to eat. But I suggest doing like apples and peanut butter or maybe protein bar or, you know, carrots and stuff, or like a real meal when you're sitting there. I was in chemo for 4 hours, you know, and I made sure I did mine early in the morning because I could just like, we could take the boys to school and then go straight to chemo, right? Just knock it out. So try to eat fulfilling meals. I had candy in my what's in my chemo bag video, and I never ate none of that. I never ate any of the candy. I didn't. Applesauce is good. Like healthy little baby snacks, and then like maybe bring you some leftovers. Or whoever is your support system, if they come with you, which hopefully somebody comes with you, it makes it so much easier. They can go get you some food real quick and bring it back. You can bring food in there and eat during your treatment, so that's great. Okay, so make sure you have your water bottle, have your ear pods, have your eye mask, and a book, because what I loved to do is put me on some 435 hertz or 935 hertz, some sort of hertz, okay, to heal the body for anxiety meditation type music, okay, and put my little eye blinders on, your little sleep goggles, put my cover over my head, kick back because it's a reclining chair, kick back and go to sleep. I look so comfy in there. Sometimes I've had my beanie on, my big fluffy socks with the little rubber things at the bottom. Now this was after Taxel though, and before like the burning skin started. But get cozy. You're gonna be there for 4 hours, sometimes more. My cousin had to go for more. So yeah, I could not eat red onions and I had a sweet tooth like crazy. And I don't really like sweets like that, but I wanted apple pie and ice cream all the time. So bad. So bad. And I'm going to take my sons after they get back from robotics today to go get some ice cream. But usually I'm not a sweet tooth type of girl. But and red onions upset my stomach even more. So be careful with like acidy foods for sure, because that could be a problem. Now, let's talk about nails. As you see, I got my nails back. Okay. Love me some long ghetto nails. I don't think they're ghetto. I think they're beautiful. I think they're autistic, but whatever. When you are going through this, they recommend that you do not have nails. The reason why is because when I was doing research, I've learned that your nails can fall off. Yeah. So, my nails did not fall off. They turned black, and not like all the way black, but there were like little spots on them, and it's still there, but now it's growing out to where it's like at the very tip of my nails. But I would have like spots, not spots, let's say sections, like a large section of the nail that would be a very, very, very dark brownish color, right? And my nails were growing like crazy, and they were hard as steel. I tell you, my nails have never been that strong in my life. Everybody else says that their nails turned black, got brittle, and fell off. Mine got brown, got harder, and grew like crazy. I don't know. But I'll take it. I went and got manicures. I would file them down. I always got like a solid color so you couldn't see like the discoloration happening. You can do that, but you have to tell them not to cut your cuticles, because if they cut your cuticle and the utensil isn't clean, or even if you come home and you're playing with your dog or whatever and like one little germ gets in there, your immune system is so compromised that it could send you to the hospital. So ask them not to cut your cuticles. They can push them back, you know, like even with the filing. And if you tell them too, like, hey, you know, my immune system is compromised right now. Can we not file too much and do not cut my cuticles? And they will understand. I didn't like to say like, hey, I'm on chemo from breast cancer. Can you not cut my cuticles, please? Like, I don't know why. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's a lot of things that's wrong with it, considering that this country is infested with this disease. But it's nothing to be ashamed of, right? But for me, it wasn't something that I particularly like to advertise. I still don't tell people that I just fought breast cancer. I don't know why. Like, I tell you guys because I started this channel to help and to share all my craziness, but I started it to help. But out in public, I don't like people to feel sorry for me. That's what it is. I don't like people to feel sorry for me. So I should be like, I don't like them filed, and can you not clip my cuticles, please? Because I'm bougie. I'd rather play that card. I don't know why. I'm crazy. Also, the chemo messes with your organs, all right? So now we have moved on into like the last few months. Your hair will start growing back when you're on the AC. They say that if you haven't lost your hair by AC is going to take it out, right? For me, it was the complete opposite. Taxol took my hair out like that. AC, as soon as I started the AC, my hair started growing back. And it's getting kind of thick too, girl. It's, you know what I mean? It's getting a little razzle dazzle. So your hair might start growing back like a week or so after you start AC. But Taxol's gonna take it out in the first 3 weeks, okay? Your glands, sometimes your glands start failing. I had something going on with my thyroid like a couple years earlier. And research the thyroid, it's very, very important. But when I had my thyroid situation, it was more like, your thyroid likes to fluctuate, but it's gonna be fine. Looking back, considering how much stuff the thyroid controls in the body, I believe that in that moment, when my thyroid started to acting up, and the endocrinologist I saw at the time, not really thinking it was that big of a deal, might have led a little bit into this breast cancer situation, because all of my hormones and everything was out of whack, and the actual cancer was in my milk duct, which is very a hormonal place, and your thyroid controls your hormones in your body, right? So anyway, the chemo also will attack some of the glands you have in your body, right? You have a lot of different glands in your body, and you know, I don't know all of them. But my thyroid basically stopped working, and my adrenal gland stopped working. Okay, so these side effects might be permanent, they might not. You really just gotta wait and see if they wake back up and kick back in, right? And speaking of hormones, you will not have a period anymore. All of that goes bye-bye. And in any other circumstances, I would be like, hooray, right? But in this one, now that I'm done with chemo, I want my period back so bad, because to me, that's a sign that my body is back healthy, that we're back rolling, that everything's on track how it needs to be. Like I said, it's only been a little bit past a month since I have had my last chemo treatment, which Keytruda, they say is not chemo, but it kind of is chemo. It's an immunotherapy treatment, which kind of still does the same thing as the cancer, right? It's killing everything, but at the same time, it's helping to build your immune system back up in the midst of still searching and finding and killing anything that might sort of look like it could be a problem. So, and it still hasn't came back yet. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the homegirl to show up. You know what I mean? Be aware of that some of your organs might decide that they're just not going to cooperate. You will have to tell your doctor, like, I am not a big fan of medication. I don't want to be on a medication for the rest of my life. So I have came up with a plan with my oncologist and my endocrinologist to figure out and levels. Basically, we all are on the track to making it that I do not have to take this medication for the rest of my life. But then again, it all depends on my body and how she wants to react, you know? So I'm sure it's going to take some time, probably a couple months, and maybe, I don't know. Nobody knows. Some people's comes right back. Some people's takes a little bit longer. So we will see. We'll see about that. Let's talk about radiation. I had to do a total of 6 weeks of radiation, right? The first 5 weeks, like, you go in first and they like measure you, line you up with this big old giant machine. It's huge, but they have a nice little decoration on the ceiling with lights. It's pretty. So I just close my eyes and meditate. That's what I do in high stress situations. I close my eyes and meditate. So pray. So they line you up to make sure that the laser, radiation laser, is going to the exact right spots, right? You lay on this board that's about like this big, but it's fine, doesn't feel that bad. You got to take your top off, so you're like naked from the top up, but they give you a robe because you got to sit in the waiting room. So you have a robe you put on, you go in the room with the radiation machine, you lay down, they line you up, they measure you, cool. Then they have your measurements. A week later, you come back. It literally takes like 5 minutes. You lay down on the board, they give you a warm blanket, you pull your robe down so your chest is exposed. Hold on.
How are you feeling?
I feel good.
Good. Did you get to eat some of your food and enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I ate quite a bit.
Oh, okay. And nothing weird?
Nope. I feel good.
Well, you called it.
Yep.
That's what I think. All right. Well, I'm pulling up. I got to poop and then I got to go meet Wes.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye. Okay, so my loved one, she took care of me the whole time. That is my soldier. I whatever shit I was talking before, that is my soldier. That is my rider. That is my love. That is, I don't know what I would have did without her in this situation. If you have a support system, like it's the best. It helps so much. If you don't, girl, oof, I don't even know. But if you don't and you need someone to talk to or anything, like comment below, DM me on Instagram. I will talk to you. I will be your emotional support system and talk to you. You know, I don't know if I could be there. We might be in different states or whatever, but if you need anyone to talk to, any questions, whatever, just someone to be like, oh my gosh, whatever, like, reach out to me and I will be there for you, because it's rough. And sometimes even if you have a support system, you don't want to talk to them right then, because sometimes it's like so much and they worry so much, and you tell them an issue that you're having and they just want to fix it for you, and sometimes you just need to scream and that's it. So reach out to me. I'm here, okay? Like, that's what I'm doing this for. Okay, so we're almost done. We're almost done. So then 6 weeks of radiation, 5 weeks you go in, you lay there 5 minutes, the machine, it zooms in, it kind of circles around the table, hitting it from different spots all around. They have you hold your breath, and when you hold your breath, you have to like suck it in through like your lungs so that your chest comes out, because you want to get that area away from your heart as far as possible. And then they zap you. And they do that about 4 to 5 times, and then you're done. Then on the last week, they do something a little different, and they start to move the table around to line it up. And basically what they're doing then, instead of hitting it from every angle going around the table, they're just targeting that one area, like with like extra rays, just that one area. Well, it's not extra, but it's very direct, you know, so straight to it. Literally takes about 2 minutes and you're done. You will feel burning after. When you're done, during, I still get sensations where it's like, ugh. And they did it under my arm here where she took the lymph nodes, and in the actual breast where the lump was. And they basically are burning your insides. Basically. So you will still get like burning pains, just like singed through your body, and it hurts. But if you just take some Tylenol, most of the time it's like for like a couple seconds and then it goes away. But you could always take some ibuprofen. When you're done with chemo, you can start taking ibuprofen and like aspirin products. That is the last week of that. After you're done with radiation, about a month after radiation, that's when you have your lumpectomy. Hi, sexy shorts.
Oh, my jersey.
Money is bitch.
You dropped stuff.
Hi. I don't want this hoe. Yeah, the Blue Jays.
It's dope, babe. So your lumpectomy, also along with your port, it's like a regular surgery. They come in, they knock you out, they wake you up, they kick you out. Just like that. Just like that. Very, very easy, very simple. Of course, you can't lay certain ways when you get out of surgery. You have to make sure that your sheets are clean, that you clean your body in antibacterial soap before you go in, just like any other surgery, right? I feel like through all of this, the surgery is the simplest part. It is very much what I looked forward to the most, because now I'm like, it's out of me. You got it out of me. Whatever you got to do, I'm fine with it. Get this shit out, you know? So they give you some meds because it is a little painful. You know, you got to lay. I had a pillow, which I show in one of my chemo vlogs, how my whole little setup, how I was laying so that this arm could be elevated and all that. Now, after you go for your first checkup with your surgeon, ask her if it's okay. But that's when I started like moving my arm and getting more of a range of motion and trying to like stretch it. Like it still can't go as high and as straight as this one, but we're working on it, right? Because this area does get a little tight after surgery and you've just been laying there. So make sure that you start doing some stretching at home, very light stretching, nothing that hurts more than it should. Like, of course you're going to feel a little stretch. That's normal. We're stretching, but you don't want to stretch so much that you hurt yourself, right? So if you feel any sort of like pain, that's too far. Take it down a notch. That was the simplest part. Then after you finish your Keytruda, because you'll have your surgery, but then you still have Keytruda coming. I think it was about, I did my surgery in September. My last Keytruda was in February. So, what was that, 4 months? September, October, November, December, January, February, 5 months. Woo! So, then, after you finish your Keytruda and your blood work is fine, all of your white blood cells are up and all that fun jazz, then she'll go in and take your port out. Now, as you can tell, this is no longer my port. It's flat. But it might look like it. I'm gonna go a little close so you guys can see. Because it has the tape over it. And then I have stitches in there. But they're gonna dissolve. So, or not tape, glue, surgical glue. This procedure was so easy. They take it out in office. So it's not like when you have to go into the hospital and get the surgery. They take it out in office. And she numbs you up. The burn from the pin, from the lidocaine is the worst part. She does it about 5-7 times, so it's really, really numb. I heard her tell her trainee that she uses 10 little milliliters worth of lidocaine to make sure. And then she starts slicing and dicing, pulls it out. First, she pulls out the catheter that's in your vein in your neck, and then she pulls the port out. But she has to like cut the scar tissue because it starts to grow around the port. So she has to release the port from the scar tissue, and then she just pulls it out. Stitches you up, couple little dissolvable stitches, cleans you up, puts on some glue, lets it dry for like 10 seconds, put your clothes on, go home. She does give you some meds. You will get some meds. I've only had to take one. I only took one. And if I'm going to be honest, I probably didn't even need it. I could have took some ibuprofen. I don't like narcotics. They work for 20 minutes and the pain's right back. You could take some ibuprofen and you'll be fine. Last but not least, okay? Let's talk about the bells. You get to ring the bell 3 times. Spoiler alert, I thought you got to ring the bell 1 time at the end, the 1 time. No, You ring the bell when you're done with the actual chemo. So when you're done with your AC, you ring the bell. Then you go do your radiation. When you're done with radiation, you ring the bell. Okay? Then when you're done with your Keytruda, when you're done, finished, you ring the bell. 3 bell rings, right? But I feel like each one of those rings is a very big milestone. Now, mind you, when you ring this bell as well, there's a saying that you have to read when you read the bell. And I don't know why, like, every time I read it, it trips me up. I'm like, y'all it needs to be a better saying that actually makes sense. I don't know. There's one line in there, and everybody I've seen that reads it, they trip up at the same part because it doesn't make sense why that word is right there. It is, whatever. But it's huge. Like I was saying, you have to understand that some people don't get to ring the bell 1 time, 2 times, or the 3rd. So it is still very, very, very monumental if you get to reach those points, right? I feel like that's it. I feel like we got through everything you should know before starting chemo. Now, if anybody wants me to go through and break anything down, because I know I could see here that this video is at least almost 40 minutes, 45 minutes long, right? So it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to just sit too in one whole setting and sit and watch this. But I feel like if it's something you're about to go through or going through, that you will. And I didn't want to piece it because let's just knock it out, right? So that is pretty much everything I have. Now for the next 5 years, you're going to be keeping up with your doctors. They're going to be keeping up with you. You're going to have mammograms every 6 months. You're going to see your surgeon every 6 months. You're going to see your oncologist every 6 months. So you're for the next 5 years, okay? And then I think after the 5 years, it goes to once a year. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it has helped somebody, anybody out there who is going through this, who will be going through this, or that has a loved one that's going through this, okay? It is, like I said, a disease that is taking over our country for no reason. When I asked my doctors the reason why they don't, there's nothing you could have done, there's nothing you can do to stop it, or that you could have done to not have this happen to you. I don't technically really believe that. Make sure that you're eating your vegetables. There's a reason why you're supposed to eat your vegetables. Okay? You want to be eating a lot of broccoli, a lot of cabbage, a lot of Brussels sprouts, things of that nature, spinach, chia seeds, a lot of antioxidants, eating a lot of fruits. Okay? Do your research and make sure that you are taking care of your temple. Okay? Life is short, and you can die beautiful. You can die young. Okay? And sometimes it's not our fault. It's not. Like, it's not my fault I got breast cancer. But could I have been doing a little bit better than I was? Because what I would do is I would go to Starbucks and go to work all day until 6, 7 o'clock at night without eating. And then come home, maybe eat something not so healthy, something fried, something dipped and dyed, okay? And not taking an accountability that most of my plate should be vegetables and that I need to eat at least 3 times a day. There's theories out there that we could eat once a day, and you can eat once a day if that meal is high in nutrients and vitamins, okay? Don't think you could eat once a day, you eat McDonald's. No. Take care of your body. Now, if you guys want me to do a video on what I eat now, post chemo, or anything. If you want me to talk about anything or go more in depth about anything that we talked about in this video, or that you might have questions or concerns about, comment below, DM me on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, this is my Instagram. Let's be friends. Let's talk about it. And like I said, if you guys don't have a support system and you just need to talk to somebody, I am here. I will talk to you. I will DM you back. You know, we get close enough and I feel comfortable, you could text me. You know what I mean? We might be able to get on a little phone call or something. I'll tell you what, this shit ain't for the weak. And if you weak, it's gonna make you strong. It's gonna make you strong. Oh, let's talk about the hair growth. So you can see it's kind of grown back, but it's actually a little bit long. Look at it. I got a little bit of hair. Just a little. Just a little. And these are not finger waves. This is natural, baby. This is oil up and tie it down. Alright. So, anyway. Like I was saying, thank you for watching this video. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.